Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory, Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavatam, it's the 4th canto, chapter 31, text 16. Narada instructs the Prachetas. Etat, padam, jagad-atmanah, param, sakrid, vibhatam, savitur, yatha, prabha, yathasavo, jagrati, supta-saktayo, dravya-kriya-jnana-bhida-bhramatyayah, etat padam jagat-atmanah param, sakrid vibhatam savitur yatha prabha, yathasavo jagrati supta-saktayo, dravya-kriya-jnana-bhida-bhramatyayah, etat padam jagat-atmanah param, sakrid vibhatam savitur yatha prabha, yathasavo jagrati supta-saktayo, dravya-kriya-jnana-bhida-bhramatyayah, etat padam jagat-atmanah param, sakrid vibhatam savitur yatha prabha, yathasavo jagrati supta-saktayo, dravya-kriya-jnana-bhida-bhramatyayah, etat padam jagat-atmanah, sakrid vibhatam savitur yatha prabha, yathasavo jagrati supta-saktayo, dravya-kriya-jnana-bhida-bhramatyayah, etat padam jagat-atmanah param, sakrid vibhatam savitur yatha prabha, yathasavo jagrati supta-saktayo, dravya-kriya-jnana-bhida-bhramatyayah,
etat padam jagat-atmanah param,
etat padam jagat-atmanah param,
sakrat vibhatam savitur yatha prabha,
sakrid vibhatam savitur yatha prabha,
yathasavo jagrati supta-saktayo,
yathasavo jagrati supta-saktayo,
dravya-kriya-jnana-bhida-bhramatyayah,
dravya-kriya-jnana-bhida-bhramatyayah. Etat padam tat jagad-atmanah param. Sakrid vibhatam savitur yatha prabha. Yathasavo jagrati supta-saktayo. dravya-kriya-jnana-bhida-bhrama dravya-kriya-jnana-bhida-bhramatyayah.
Ladies.
etat padam jagat-atmanah param. vibhatam savitur prabha. yathasavo jagrati supta-saktayo. dravya-kriya-jnana-bhida-bhramatyayah.
Etat is cosmic manifestation. Padam, place of habitation. Tat, that. Jagat-atmanah, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Param, transcendental. Sakrid, sometimes. Vibhatam, manifested. Savitur, of the sun. Yatha, as. Prabha, sunshine. Yatha, as. Asavah, the senses. Jagrati, become manifest. Supta, inactive. Saktayah, energies. Dravya, physical elements. Kriya, activities. Jnana, knowledge. Bhida-bhrama, differences from misunderstanding. Atyayah, passing away. Translation. Just as the sunshine is non-different from the sun, cosmic manifestation is also non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality is therefore all-pervasive within this material creation. When the senses are active, they appear to be part and parcel of the body. But when the body is asleep, their activities are unmanifest. Similarly, the whole cosmic creation appears different and yet non-different from the Supreme Person. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. This confirms the philosophy of achintya veda tattva, simultaneously one and different, propounded by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is simultaneously different and non-different from this cosmic manifestation. In a previous verse, it has been explained that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like the root of a tree, is the original cause of everything. It was also explained how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is all-pervasive. He is present within everything in this material manifestation. Since the energy of the Supreme Lord is non-different from Him, this material cosmic manifestation is also non-different from Him, although it appears different. The sunshine is not different from the sun itself, but it is simultaneously also different. One may be in the sunshine, but he is not on the sun itself. Those who live in the material world are living on the bodily rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they cannot see Him personally in the material condition. In this verse, the word padam indicates the place where the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides. as confirmed in Isopanishad, Ishyavasham Midam Sarvam. The proprietor of a house may live in one room of the house, but the entire house belongs to him. A king may live in one room in Buckingham Palace, but the entire palace is considered his property. It is not necessary for the king to live in every room of that palace for it to be his. He may be physically absent from the rooms, but still the entire palace is understood to be his royal domicile. The sunshine is light, the sun globe itself is light, and the sun god is also light. However, the sunshine is not identical with the sun god, Divishvan. This is the meaning of simultaneously one and different, achintya veda veda tattva. All the planets rest on the sunshine, and because of the heat of the sun, they all revolve in their orbits. On each and every planet, the trees and plants grow and change colors due to the sunshine. Being the rays of the sunshine is not different from the sun. Similarly, all the planets resting on the sunshine are not different from the sun. The entire material world is completely dependent on the sun, being produced by the sun, and the cause, the sun, is inherent in the effects. Similarly, Krishna is the cause of all causes, and the effects are permeated by the original cause. The entire cosmic manifestation should be understood as the expanded energy of the Supreme Lord. When one sleeps, the senses are inactive, but this does not mean that the senses are absent. When one is awakened, the senses become active again. Similarly, this cosmic creation is sometimes manifest and sometimes unmanifest, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, vibhatam. When the cosmic manifestation is dissolved, it is in a kind of sleeping condition and inactive state. Whether the cosmic manifestation is active or inactive, the energy of the Supreme Lord is always existing. Thus the words appearance and disappearance apply only to the cosmic manifestation. Translation again. Just as the sunshine is non-different from the sun, the cosmic manifestation is also non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality is therefore all-pervasive within the material creation. When the senses are active, they appear to be part and parcel of the body, but when the body is asleep, their activities are unmanifest. Similarly, the whole cosmic creation appears different and yet non-different from the Supreme Person. Sri Chaitanya Manopisam Stapitam Jainam Bhutale Svaya Vajradadamayam Dadati Svapatantikam Panchakopa Tugashtra Kripa Sindhu Vyadivacha Patitanam Bhavani Vaishnavi Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasri Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So everyone understands all of this? First I'd like to say it's very nice to be back here to Raj, to Vrindavan and Govardhan, after being away for 16 months. And it's also very remarkable to go, when you go away, really just over a year. It's not a very long time. Although when you're away, it's a very long time. We were always thinking, when will we get back to Govardhan? When will we get back to Vrindavan? When will we get home? But to come back home and see so many things that have happened in this very short time, in a year, and this is I talked to Boo this morning, my godbrother Bhuvaneshwar. He invited me to his place. And I said, so I'm giving class. I always ask him, when I'm giving class, what should I talk about? And he said to me, well, you're just going to talk about Srila Prabhupada, so don't worry about it. But, and this verse actually in the purport very much made me think about Srila Prabhupada in so many ways. The first way when we talk about, Prabhupada uses this analogy hundreds and hundreds of times about the sun god, the sun planet, and the sunshine. And I was thinking, well, how does Srila Prabhupada, how can I fit Srila Prabhupada into this analogy? And I was thinking, we have this ISKCON society now. So, as Prabhupada said, ISKCON is the limbs of his body. His disciples, he said, actually were the limbs of his body. And he said, ISKCON was non-different from himself. So in this way, we can see this society that we're part of, this ISKCON society. It's nothing but Srila Prabhupada. It's all Srila Prabhupada's energy. And all of us can understand that. Of course, if we were around when Srila Prabhupada was here, it was very, very easy to understand. Everything that was happening was emanating from Srila Prabhupada. He was the source of everything. I was looking at the other verses Prabhupada talked about in the previous verses, and it was talking about, as in this verse, all the planets spinning in their orbit. And when I traveled with Srila Prabhupada, I understood this principle, this very same principle that Srila Prabhupada was doing as he was traveling around. He was the sun that illuminated all of the temples, everywhere he went, and all of his disciples, his sunshine, Prabhupada's disciples. We're supposed to become like Srila Prabhupada. He says non-different. The sunshine and the sun are non-different. There's difference, but there's not difference. And with Srila Prabhupada, as much as we glorify him, hopefully everyone's glorifying Srila Prabhupada, that's a very nice standard, very nice position, always to be glorifying him. But he also wanted that we became like him. He wanted us to be like sunshine. Not that we just, Prabhupada is so wonderful, Prabhupada is pure, Prabhupada did all these things. He wanted to see his followers, he wanted to see his disciples. And this was always what he said to his leaders. And Prabhupada's leaders, he would often group together. He would say that he didn't make lots of distinctions. He said whether one was a sannyasi, the GBC, the temple president. He said, you are my leaders. He said, and you have to exhibit what I'm exhibiting. You have to do what I'm doing and see that others are doing what I'm doing. You know, this was the role of leadership. So of course, Srila Prabhupada always is our leader. And he's always present in the society. And just as it mentions here in the end of the purport, when one sleeps, the senses are inactive. So what is that sleeping for us? In Prabhupada's presence, we understand as his followers, if one's following his instructions, then he's awake. If he's not following his instructions, then we're in a sleeping state. We're not able to accomplish anything. And what I see here, coming to Vrindavan after just a year, is how many wonderful things have happened in a short time. I've been coming here for some years now. I lived here for a few years, a couple of years ago. So for the last 5 years, I've seen so much happen in this center. So many things happen in this Vrindavan temple, which has been very wonderful. And of course, we have to say, we have our temple president here, Panchagoda Prabhu, who I think does an amazing service, a very difficult place, in very difficult difficult position to be in. And him with his, so many people who are assisting him, Sanatan Prabhu, they're doing so many wonderful things in this temple. When I come to this temple, I feel Srila Prabhupada's presence because things are happening. This was Prabhupada's mood. It wasn't sitting down, although we do that as well. We want to have that taste for chanting. But I remember being with Prabhupada back in 1972 and traveling with him in those years for a few years. And he would often say, when his disciples, they would come into his room and they would talk about, we can do this, or we can put on this festival, or we should buy this property, and so many things. And Prabhupada always had 2 words, he would say, 3 words. And it was long before Nike. Here you say Nike, Nike. In the US we say Nike. So way before Nike had their commercial, just do it. You know, Nike, this was Nike commercial, Nike commercial, just do it. Well, this was a mantra. Srila Prabhupada had very many mantras. One of his mantras, when the disciple would sit and talk about doing, and he would say, just do it. That was it. He would immediately give the sanction. You go for it. You have your enthusiasm. Go do something. Do something for me. He would say, do something for Krishna. And do something wonderful for Krishna. This was always Srila Prabhupada's mood. And this is what ISKCON society is about. Doing something for Krishna. This is the action. So I'm talking about these planets spinning around. When Prabhupada was physically present here, this is what he did. He traveled, we all know, so many times he traveled around the world 14 times in 11 years. And what did he do when he was traveling? He went from one center, all these centers he created, all these little planets. Prabhupada had all these little planets. So he would go there and like the planets, and like we say, the child. Here they still have in India, you have the little wooden tops, the things you put the string around, and it spins. And this is what Srila Prabhupada always made sure. While he was here, he kept those planets, he kept his temple spinning. Very nice, very stable, not so wobbling. He wouldn't let them wobble and fall over. And his disciples as well. He kept everyone spinning. And he did it, of course, by his own determination, his purity, and of course, through his books. Being with Srila Prabhupada, I saw more and more that everything that he did within the society and creating the society, it all came from instructions from his spiritual master. He never acted independently. Whatever he was doing, he was thinking of his Guru Maharaj, the instructions he received from him, and how to carry out those instructions. So this, if one does that, you can accomplish so much. And that's what I see here, just in coming here to this temple. Before coming here, we were in New Dwarka for 28 days. It was supposed to be 3 days, but getting a visa to India has become more difficult. They have an agency. They had an agency for some time, but they have a new agency, a subcontractor. Very slow. So just to get a tourist visa took 28 days. But that 28 days also became very wonderful because I was in New Dwarka. We got to stay there with devotees for a month and do programs there. We were there for Govardhan Puja. We were there for Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day. New Dwarka, of course, was the world headquarters for ISKCON back in the 70s, back in the early and mid-70s. That was the world headquarters. So it was a very special place where Prabhupada stayed and spent a lot of time teaching what to do, how to have this ISKCON society, how it should be run, how things should be kept. Prabhupada had his standards. Everywhere he went, Prabhupada had standards. And those standards, they didn't change from one place to the next, from one period of time to the next. Prabhupada established deity worship in a certain way. The programs, of course, in the temple, as he always said, this program, chanting 16 rounds, following the regulatory principles, Bhagavatam class, everyone going to the class in the morning, prasadam, everything. He filled our days. He said, he talks about sleep here. He said, when one sleeps, Prabhupada didn't like sleeping, didn't like to sleep, and he would say it. I had, the fortune again to be with Srila Prabhupada 24 hours a day. So I saw his habits, when he would lie down, when he would take rest, when he would rise. And sometimes he was, pure devotee is all he wants to do is serve Krishna. And he doesn't see sleeping condition as being service. We could see his sleeping condition. When Prabhupada slept, I saw he was doing service. He was fully conscious. And when I was awake, I was completely asleep, because I wasn't accomplishing anything. So it's a question of consciousness. Prabhupada's consciousness was always with Krishna. But he was always awake. But still, he wanted to do so much in spreading his sunshine, spreading his ISKCON society, which just gets spread. I see it growing all of the time. In Srila Prabhupada's quarters, last year I could go sit down, chant japa in his room in the morning. This year there's nowhere to sit. They'll make a spot for you, they see you come in. But it's crowded, every room is crowded with his followers chanting Hare Krishna, sitting in front of him, feeling Srila Prabhupada's presence. You can feel it special in these places. In Los Angeles, in his rooms, you feel Srila Prabhupada. So many things were accomplished while we were in LA that we didn't know was going to happen. As we say, Krishna has his plans, and we have our plans. Unfortunately, his plans, they trump our plans. If we just surrender and submit to whatever Krishna wants. So, after wanting to be here for the very first day of Kartik, I arrived here in Vrindavan for the very last day of Kartik. But that was okay, because Krishna had a wonderful plan. We were there in New Dwarka. My wife was to visit her grandmother, Armenian grandmother, and we were going back and forth, driving, visiting a few days a week. It was almost an hour ride each way. And then we said, tomorrow we can't come. We're going to a special festival in the temple. And she said, my husband, Surtakirti, is going to be speaking there. It's his spiritual master's disappearance day, so we have a lot to do. And she said, bring me with you. So she got to go to the temple. She got to be in Srila Prabhupada's rooms for the artik. We had artik at 7 p.m. And then this beautiful murti of Srila Prabhupada in the room in New Dwarka, where he sat. So many months, Srila Prabhupada sat there doing his dictation, responding to letters, speaking with the devotees. So he was sitting behind his desk and he had the dictaphone in his hand, and it was cold, he had his hat on, his little cap on, and we took some pictures of Srila Prabhupada, and we took pictures of her by Prabhupada, and she said, are you sure it's okay? She said, he won't mind. And he said, no, it's okay. She said, but he's working. So she saw Srila Prabhupada sitting there, alive. She said, well, he's there. And we said, yes, he's there. She said, but he's working. I said, no, but it's okay. He said, but he is alive and he is there. But it's okay, he's there in a different form. So she was completely absorbed in seeing Srila Prabhupada there, as we all were. So Srila Prabhupada, of course, that same Achintya Veda Veda Tattva is there. Srila Prabhupada's presence especially are in these places. It's so nice. I see the sign out front when I see it. It's Srila Prabhupada's home. Some years ago I was here, it was about 8 years ago, and it said Srila Prabhupada Museum, and it had hours. It said the Srila Prabhupada Museum. And I asked, I said, where is this museum for Srila Prabhupada? Because I just knew his quarters, his home, his rooms, you know. I said, where's the museum? And they said, well, this is the museum. I said, no, this is not a museum. I said, this is Prabhupada's home. Prabhupada hasn't gone and left, you know, not that he's died. That's what a museum is, right? You go in a museum and you see a bunch of, you know, dead animals and, you know, things from the past. There's no past here. It's about the present. Srila Prabhupada's here in this society. You're all part of Srila Prabhupada's sunshine. You're all radiating Srila Prabhupada's presence. This is how he lives on in his words. So who carries his words? Just in these books, if they're closed, what are the books doing? If they're sitting on a shelf, nothing's happening. They have to be carried by personalities, by his followers, by his disciples, his grand disciples. They're bringing Srila Prabhupada. They keep Srila Prabhupada alive in this society. This is this kind. And this is what I see here in this temple every time I come. It's just expanding. And I think Srila Prabhupada, not to say Srila Prabhupada would be so happy, Srila Prabhupada is so happy to see what goes on in his centers. He's very happy to see what's going on here in this Vrindavan. When I was with Prabhupada in Caracas, as he was traveling around, keeping all those tops spinning, I remember one class Prabhupada gave. This was his one and only trip. He went to Caracas, Venezuela, and Mexico City, where he had gone twice. So he stayed 1 week in Caracas, Venezuela, South America. And just like everywhere, culture is here in North America, USA, there's a certain kind of culture. South America, Venezuela, there's also a certain kind of culture. They were I found them very excited. I would say if you saw 3 of them talking together, you thought they were planning a revolution. There was so much animation in their speaking, and getting louder. But they were just speaking. But anyway, Prabhupada gave a lecture. And after the lecture, there was one discontent person who was living outside of the temple. So this is 1975. So already we had people who were on the outside not liking what was going on in the temple. There's so much Maya in the temple. And after the class, there was a female, and she said, Srila Prabhupada, this temple, all the devotees, they're in Maya. She said to Prabhupada. She was very disturbed. She was very Krishna conscious, and she could see it. They were all, you know, she said so many of these devotees, and particularly the leadership, they're in Maya. And Prabhupada looked. And then he said, you show me the place, he said, where there's no Maya, and I'll go there. All the devotees laughed. And then Prabhupada said, he said, I see all the devotees in this temple very sincerely serving Krishna. That's what he saw. He said, I see everyone is sincerely serving. This is the vision of the devotee. And now we just say, oh, that's Srila Prabhupada, pure devotee. But what about us? Do we want to rise to that level? Or do we want to stay on this platform? This person's a nonsense. This one, they were in the Mangalarti this morning. This one eats too much prasad. This one's talking in the corner over there. What do we want to do? Prabhupada saw all these people. And obviously we're all just neophyte devotees. I'm sure there were things going on, as there always are. But Prabhupada just saw people serving Krishna very sincerely. And then he said, you see they're in Maya because you're in Maya. And that's the essence of a devotee. Devotee sees everyone serving Krishna very nicely. That's why it was so wonderful to be with Srila Prabhupada, because I knew I was in Maya all the time. I had that much realization I had. I consider that 12-step program, that's the first step, right? In the West, they have the Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, this Anonymous, Sex Addict Anonymous, Overeating Anonymous. Everyone's has an addiction to something, so they've got them all, so many categories of addictions. So the first step in curing, and it's a very good program, it helps many people. The first step is to realize you have a problem. So when in my Krishna conscious endeavors over many, many years, I've always known I have problems. I have problems in Krishna consciousness. So of course that's a bad thing, because we don't want to have problems. But at least I know I have problems. And when I was with Srila Prabhupada, I understood that I have problems. And because of that, I have a tendency not to judge others, because I figure, well, if I could just come to their level, there would be some improvement there. Just like when I see the temple president here, who's doing amazing service. I ran over here for the last couple of days just to see him before he went back to the West for a couple of months. And just seeing what he does all day, just seeing what devotees do, how they serve Krishna, it amazes me to see that they take such responsibility. So much to serve Srila Prabhupada. And being with Srila Prabhupada, I saw how much he appreciated the service that his followers, his disciples did. And that's always what he focused on, their service. He didn't say to this person, oh, you can come to my room after class and we can discuss what's going on. You can explain to me, what different individuals are doing, what their Maya is and all this, and then we can try to work something out. What did he say? Very in front of everyone. What does that do? It encourages you in your Krishna consciousness. It encourages you to do something. How encouraged do you get when people start telling you what you're doing wrong all the time? You're doing some service. Hey, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But when you find that one little thing that's going nicely and you encourage, Prabhupada was very expert fanning our flame, our little flame of Krishna consciousness. He would fan it just enough. If you fan too much, you can put it out. And if you don't fan enough, you can also put it out. So Prabhupada was always giving so much energy. 26 Second Avenue, where it all began in the West. 26 Second Avenue, the first temple, Matchless Gifts. I was there, this was just like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, so 1995 or so, and it was a festival, Rath-yatra had happened the day before, and then it was Sunday and they were having Prabhupada Katha, 26 Second Avenue, where it all began. So many of my brothers, god sisters were speaking for a few minutes, and then I spoke for a few minutes. And after I spoke, one of the grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada, he said to me, did Srila Prabhupada treat anyone special? And he had his spiritual master, one of my godbrothers, sannyasi godbrothers, who was definitely, many would say he was treated special by Srila Prabhupada. So it was what we call a loaded question. He wanted to hear a certain response. And I was never asked that question before, and I was never asked it again. So he said, did he treat anyone special? And I thought, spending so much time with Srila Prabhupada, I thought, well, who did he treat special? And then I just said, yes. I said, everyone. Because he did. This is what a devotee does. He inspires everyone. Doesn't discourage. Because he sees, what do we have here? Everyone here, you're in Vrindavan. Just to get here. So all I did was worry for a month. Am I going to get to Vrindavan? Is Radharani going to let me back? Maybe I'm not going to get in. Maybe, buying a ticket doesn't get you here. You can get a first class $10,000, lie down seat on a plane, but it doesn't get you into Vrindavan. You can only get into Vrindavan by the mercy of the devotees. So Srimati Radharani's mercy, you come here. So I thought maybe I'm not going to get here. But I saw with Srila Prabhupada, he treated everyone so special. And I see that mercy here in Vrindavan as well. I see Srimati Radharani and I think so much mercy. Just keeps allowing me to come back. Even I go away and I'm thinking, I have to get back to Vrindavan, I want to get back to Vrindavan. Then while you're here, of course, so many things, and when you have to pass through India to get to Vrindavan, that's sometimes a little difficult. That part of it can create a lot of disturbance. But then you get to your little safe zone. That was Srila Prabhupada. He was like the safety zone, just like Sita, she had that zone around her. You felt like that, right? When you were with Prabhupada, you were in this bubble. Nothing could hurt you. But you have to stay in that bubble. Don't leave that bubble. So it's still there. Prabhupada's here. Right there. And he's with all of you, his followers. You're only here because he permits you to be here. This is his society. This is his sun. This is the sun globe. It's all Prabhupada's. His residence. Whether he's here, everything belongs to him. Everything in this society is his. And if you serve him, if you serve his society, then you're with him. If you follow his instructions, you're with him. And if you don't, hopefully he'll drag you back somehow or other, which he does that as well. He said that once he takes you, he doesn't let you go. He said Krishna won't let you go, but that means Prabhupada won't let you go. And whatever he has to do to bring you back, if you don't come back easily, then it can be a struggle. Sometimes you can go through some pain and suffering. And it can take time. But that's not our business to see how much time it's taking for different individuals to do something. Our business is to encourage one another, to see how nicely someone's serving Srila Prabhupada, and everything will be successful. And I see that. I see these devotees here serving so nicely. That's all I see. Everyone's doing so much service here. I've become a little envious when you get to do all this wonderful service. Okay? Transcendental competition, Prabhupada talks about. But we've been pleased to see the service that others are doing. So I'm just here today, going back to Govardhan. Govardhan has also given me shelter there. See that? It's all faith. We develop this faith, you can see Krishna manipulating everything, pulling the strings. And if you accept it, you surrender to that, life is very wonderful. You just surrender to what Krishna does. So we're headed back to Govardhan. And so while I'm here this few days, and today I just want to express my appreciation to everyone that helps make this such a wonderful place. As Los Angeles was the world headquarters, this will always be the world headquarters in our ISKCON society. And so many thousands and thousands of people come. And they're all beginning when they step through that door. They're starting their process. Maybe some have started, and some are beginning their process in Krishna consciousness. And that's enough. If they don't do anything else in this lifetime, it can take a long time to become Krishna conscious. When asked, I remember that, and that was Guru Krishna said, Ajamil, 60 years, 80 years. He was in Maya. He said to Prabhupada, you know, for 80 years, he was in Maya, he was gone, he was away. Prabhupada said, what's 80 years? You know, we spent 8 million lifetimes, wandering around. So the point is, it's not our business to see what this person is doing, what this person. Our business is to look inside. What am I doing for Srila Prabhupada? How have I helped spread his sunshine around this planet? How have I helped get rid of this darkness in Kali Yuga? And if we do that, we can be a very nice instrument in the hands of the spiritual master. So it's almost time to finish. I have a few minutes. If anyone has any questions or comments. Hare Krishna. We have a microphone.
Prabhupada, I've been here for about a month, and all of a sudden I got a realization, seeing all the devotees coming out of the Prashadam hall. I said, look at that. We come to Prabhupada, so to speak, and we don't even have to worry about the Prashadam, where the Prashadam is going to come. Just have the hard Prashadam every day, and just enjoy the kirtan so nicely and heartily, and very for the Sham. I goes to the water, and I be here.
What is the difficulty? Yes, this Prashadam Krishna Hall. When I was here last year, we had a Balaram Hall was there. Now we have Krishna Hall. Krishna Hall, of course, is bigger than Balaram Hall. But all just to serve the devotees. And this was also very important for Srila Prabhupada. He wanted the devotees to be taken care of very, very nicely in all of his centers. But when they came to Vrindavan, he wanted to see that they were comfortable. It was one of his main concerns. They could go on and on, but there's no time. But yes, given everything, he said, what is the difficulty? We chant, we dance, we take prasadam. It's a wonderful process. And if you distribute that process to others, you'll never be without anything. Krishna will take care of everything. It's practical. Anyone else? No? Everyone wants to take prasadam? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.